I'm your host, JD Wonder, alongside Nick Henricks. Mikey Love is not going to be joining us tonight, but we're going to dive right into the big board. We got CWS time. The four teams on either side are decided. Okay, we got Virginia, UNC. We got Florida State, Tennessee. We got NC State and Kentucky. We got Florida, Texas A&M. Kentucky actually making their first ever College World Series appearance.
Yeah, and they're also the only SEC school that hasn't made a CWS appearance, which one is kind of the way you look at the SEC as a powerhouse is very ironic that not every single school has made it, but Kentucky, until like the last 3 years, has not been a baseball school. And their program has picked it back up, and I will say with just immense prowess. I mean, Kentucky has developed into such a small ball team and just downright nitty-gritty to the bone. And I think they're paired up in a very hard bracket of four here, in my opinion. I think this could be incredibly tough.
What's crazy too is we got on one side it's 3 ACC, 1 SEC, and then the other side it's 1 ACC, 3 SEC.
And you know the weirdest thing is this is actually the same thing in a first for the CWS. Actually, I believe since it was expanded in what was it, 1950, before they moved it to Omaha. This is the first time within this pool play of where it's been 64 for regions that you've had all of the same conference play, as in like back to each other, which in all honesty, looking at all of this, as much as I love a lot of the teams in here, I hate every bit about it. It's like it.
That's true. Like we didn't have any representation of any other schools.
No, and it's been one of those kind of crazy years where we talked about it. You guys did the show when they started the regionals. Florida had no inclination of looking like they should have been in this tournament. They looked like they were coming out strong at the end of the year, which was good. But at the same time, Florida has proven time and time again over this tournament that they can still rock with the big dogs. Caglione gets another shot at Omaha before his draft class goes up. Georgia and Condon sadly got knocked out by the good old Wolfpack. And we got to talk about that Tennessee game, or that Texas A&M series against Oregon. You were down by 8-4, I believe, tied it up on walks. 5 straight walks in a row. Texas A&M got to ball. I think it was 7 before, with the bases loaded in their chance. And now you're sitting here playing at Omaha after knocking off Oregon. Kentucky playing the small ball that they do. They got that run late in the game because Oregon State's pitcher decided not to cover home. Kids, if you're watching at home, small ball. If there is a pass ball and a runner in scoring position, your ass better be freaking standing on the plate.
Family friendly.
Sorry. Mikey's not here. I had to pick up a little bit of that slack, but you got to cover home plate, man. That's one of the biggest things in baseball is the fundamentals, and that was the hard throb for good old Oregon State. And sorry for Bazana, he's not here, but there's still a lot of talent in this team of 8.
I would agree, and I kind of see shadows of that old Miss team from a few years back, where they're one of the last teams in. People are like, oh, they don't deserve to be in, but then they decided, time and time again to come out and play.
Yep.
You had Tim Elko on that team. It was just super clutch. And I mean, in all honesty, you can see the same kind of shadows of it with that Florida team. But let's just dive right into the pick'ems.
Let's get it.
So I'll let you decide. Are we going to choose a CWS winner today? We're going to play out the board.
I was debating that before the show, too. I was thinking about that the whole day because one of my buddies asked me who I thought would win. And I'm just looking at this pool, and I had a guess. But with the way that all of this has been going down over the last couple of weeks, there is no telling. So if you want to pick out a straight winner and keep it and just set it in stone and keep it spicy, let's get it hot, boy.
Let's do it. Let's
get it hot.
I'm completely down. I'm just going to fill in the bracket as is. I'm probably going to end up the same way I do at March Madness, where I'm like, how did this team end up in the championship game? All right. So we got Virginia and UNC. Who's winning that first game?
I like UNC, man. Give me Honeycutt, and I like USC.
So I like that. I'm going to take a second, though. We got to consult the score.
Yes.
Because I realized that right as I looked before. Myself, so Daddy is still in the lead.
Oh dear Lord.
I
Not
have
calling it
12
that.
correct picks. Mikey, however, has jumped into second place with 11 correct picks. And Nick, you're in last with 10.
I didn't do too bad in that super,
So,
but also I did horrible.
I mean, like, in all honesty, I think most of it was just Mikey picking out of spite that all of a sudden he got a bunch correct.
Yeah, he started rocking, but
But
can't throw the man under the
you
bus.
know, that works. It works. I also agree that UNC team, I could see them winning that game. Mark responds.
Well, and this is the weird thing too you have to look at. Out of that entire side of the bracket, you could throw NC State in there too. Everybody in this tournament, I believe, has played each other this year for a series. So I mean, you're going back and forth on how you're going to pick. So I mean, you gotta think of, and especially since it is tournament time, the records don't matter anymore. It's like you can always say in March Madness, oh yeah, well they had this win against this team, they were here, they were here. It's tournament time. You can go by the numbers because they're probably going to be correct and they're going to have the same scouting reports. But one pitcher could be on today, one pitcher could be off today, so you never know.
So the next one we got is Florida State and Tennessee. Who do we got for that one?
The gut tells me to go with FSU, but I think I got to go with the Vols. They're looking way too hot. They came in. Evansville was able to steal a game, but I mean, this year they seem a little bit more locked on down the stretch, and they actually got here instead of being the number one team and choking. So
I feel like that's a good one too to pick. Like I think I'm going to stick with that as well because I think Florida State came in and laid it on a UConn team that I don't think they'll be able to do the same thing against Tennessee. But I mean, granted, Tennessee did play an Evansville team relatively close. After hearing it out loud, let's go FSU.
you got FSU?
with that one.
I like that pick.
I don't know. I mean, Evansville coming out and making them bleed the way that they did.
Yeah.
I can never really bet on a 1-1 seed. I don't know what it is. I just can't do it.
Well, the way that the FSU bats came out, especially against UConn, which we've prided their pitching staff for the last 2 years, which is viably so. I mean, it's a valid pitching staff. They've got their recognition, but the bats have come out hot, and it's starting to show. So this one could actually become. I could see this one being close to a straight dogfight through all 9 innings. I don't think somebody's just going to magically pull away.
All right. Okay, so the next one we got is NC State and Kentucky. What do we got for that one?
Give me Nick Mangione and the Cats, man. I love the fact that NC State is back after 2021, and I love NC State, and the survive and advance this year is definitely real. But Mangione has this team of Kentucky absolutely raring to go, and I will say the inexperience might prove fatal to him, though.
I am probably going to have to go as well, Kentucky, in this one. I think that Omaha is going to really rally around them as a team. I think, yeah, like you mentioned earlier with the small ball and stuff like that they play is it's feisty. I think they have a shot.
Watch, everything's going to be flip-flop. We're all just going to be wrong in all this.
Okay, and then lastly we got Florida, Texas A&M.
Oh, this one is going to be the devil's advocate to me. I'm gonna take Florida on the top on this one.
Oh my.
Mikey said that I had, and actually I will be going to this game on Saturday. So I will be back in town for at least one game of the CWS. But Dad was giving me crap all weekend. Nick's got the hard on for Texas A&M, and I'm just like, well, yeah, but I think the Gators are going to shock everybody and at least get a game 1 win.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one. I think Florida, first of all, I'm just gonna stand by it. Like I think they're gonna go 2-Q. Like we gotta get them out of here.
Somebody,
I can't be
somebody's,
having that.
somebody's got to get the Swamp Gators back down
Gotta
to
get
the
them out
swamp.
of here.
Get them out of here, boy.
Texas A&M won't do it.
Good old Kevin O'Sullivan back into the good old state of Omaha once again. Last time he was here, lost to good old Paul Skeens last year. And think about that too. Wasn't Florida in the national title versus LSU last year as well? Against Paul Skeens? Google will have the answer. 2023 baseball national title. Josh is currently taking a just hiatus on the big board.
I had a fan going, and I could not hear you near the end of stuff. Whenever I turned right on our board, all I heard
You're
was
good.
So.
We do have, I will say before we keep it rocking here, LSU beat Florida last year. Everybody remembers that. We have 4 returners actually into Omaha. Nope, never mind. 3. I got the math wrong. My bad. Tennessee, Virginia, and Florida making it back for 2 consecutive years. And Virginia, I think, within the last, what has it been? 5 or 6 has been here only one less time since that period of losing and winning a national title. It's incredible. Are we picking losers bracket games too and going all the way up through this thing?
We're just going all the way. So I got everything written down.
Look at Josh on it.
So
that's your man, ladies. If you want a guy who is prepared for the inevitable, man's right there.
Don't be setting me up on what?
Screw Tinder. We got No Place Like Homaha.
Hey,
here we
go.
Hey, yo.
Tinder gets the swipe left. I don't.
Yeah, Tinder gets the swipe left. Omaha gets the swipe right.
All right.
After that lovely comment.
I don't. I get it. And probably okay, like side note though, I bet like Tinder gets like a ton of business during the CWS. Like
bro,
you imagine you just go into the stadium and you're just like,
bro, you're running out of swipes within 5 minutes because you're just sitting there. Oh, out of stater.
I was gonna say you pull up to Charles Schwab Stadium and you're like, all right, I'm gonna swipe everybody. Just
boom.
Send it. Set your radius to like 2 miles.
Oh yeah, because it's all compact there, and if they're not at the stadium, they're down taking Jello shots. You know where they're gonna be. They're gonna be at the old mattress factory later. And that's the thing I love about Omaha too during this time of year. Everybody is getting after it. Like this is the time of the year. But also you got all the girls that, because the guys are going to be swiping right, they're not going to see all the profile that says, if you're not a baseball player, don't talk to me. If you're riding the bench, you can still talk to me. Like they're just sitting there.
At that point, you just gotta like get a jersey or something, just walk around and they'll be like, hey, we got a game later if you want to come by, you know.
You get the guys going to the shops, getting the full game jerseys and they're wearing their baseball pants.
They just gotta get like the practice shirt that they wear, and like a hat, sweating it a little bit, so it looks like they've worn it on the field, and they're just like, yeah, we just got done with practice, you know.
Boys, I will tell you right now that strategy won't work because you're gonna wear the wrong jersey for game day, and it's gonna be like you don't play at all. It's like
it's not like they're gonna know. Come on.
Oh, dude.
Let the boys work. All right.
They're not puck bunnies. They can figure it out.
We'll go, okay. So I have UNC versus FSU. You have UNC versus Tennessee. Who's winning? And who's gonna buy? And then who is losing? So you have UNC versus Tennessee. You got for that one.
I still got UNC. I think they're on a tear this year. They've looked strong. I think Tennessee is paired up into a bat of raring to go, and especially since Honeycutt led off the Super Regionals with a walk-off, and then for Game 3, a leadoff bomb. The man is ready to go for Omaha. And plus, the bullpen for this NC State team is too deep. I like where they're going to be able to go. They're going to save some pitching and get through it.
I agree with that one. I think UNC will make it as well, but it's against an FSU team, so I'll have you in this game. Okay. Then who do you have? Virginia versus FSU for you.
I got Florida State. I think Virginia's going 2-Q. The depth this year is just not there with the bats and the offense, and I think that if you really kind of break it down, Virginia has still been a tough team throughout, but I don't think this is a repeat of the 2015 title team.
Yeah, I got the same thing. So eventually we get to Tennessee facing FSU. So we both got there, just different routes. Okay. Next, jumping back to the other side of the bracket, you got Kentucky versus Florida. Who's surviving? Who is going to an Elam game?
Give me Mangione, man. I'm riding strong on the Cats this year. Watching them play against Oregon State was huge. They were able to keep their relief pitchers pretty dialed in. The one thing that I will actually, I'm gonna save this take for the end. I'll save this take for later. Just
save that take for
later.
later.
Just wait, buddy. Who are you picking?
With this one, I gotta go Texas A&M advancing, and Kentucky will go to an Elam game. I gotta ride heavy with Schlossnagle on this one. I think that this might be the shot that they want this year and that they will get. Next, we got an Elam game. You have NC State versus Texas A&M. Who you got?
As much as I really like the Pack, man, I got to go with Schlossnagle and the good old Aggies. Sorry, NC State. You guys are going to be 2-Q, but I will be bringing my NC State hat still as well.
I think that's a bandwagon move. I want Florida to 2-Q, so I got NC State playing Kentucky.
There you go.
All righty.
Boy, we are diving way deep into this. I love it.
So much.
Have we really picked like this in depth for a CWS like ever on the show?
I don't think we've picked like week to week, but like I like just getting it all done, so I don't gotta think about it.
Speaking of which, I forgot to check before we got on today, but where'd it go? There we go. Well, I have 2 teams out of my original 8 from the year.
Oh my God.
I've got North Carolina and Florida. Duke was a bust. Texas was a bust. Bama was a bust. TCU, bust. Wake Forest, big time bust. And then, of course, East Carolina, bust. Josh also has, oh no, you got 3. Wake Forest was a bust. South Carolina, bust. Duke, bust. Oregon State, almost bust. TCU, bust. Your 3 teams in Omaha, and let's hear it for the boy, because I didn't write Mikey's picks on my phone, and I'm so sorry. Virginia on the list. Jim Schlossnagle and the boys for the Aggie train on the list, and good old Florida Gators with at least 2 votes on the list. We can go back through and double check for next week's episode just to make sure these numbers are right for everybody.
I
But
guess
so
that
far,
makes sense. It makes sense.
yeah, getting back after a national title run,
Yeah, and I mean, like,
runner up.
most of their players come back for the most part.
Yeah.
They were ranked really high in the preseason.
Somebody get Caglione out of here. I hope he gets drafted because he can't come back. Like the SEC is about to die if that man comes back.
Okay.
Let's
So
run it.
you got an Elim game. You're gonna have Tennessee versus FSU. Who you got in that one?
Give me FSU, baby.
FSU. And then who do you have them winning 2 against UNC, or do you have UNC going to the championship?
No. Put North Carolina back in the title game, baby. The Diamond Heels are about to be sitting pretty. I always like having North Carolina back because as a kid I remember having them go back to back national title games against Oregon State or title series, and Oregon State still beating them.
Mhm.
But yeah, I got what was that? That was 06 and 07 because then Fresno won it in 08, South Carolina won it in 09, and then they won it in 10 back when it flipped to TD Ameritrade.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna go with Tennessee winning that game against FSU because I feel like they're gonna come back around.
all right.
But I also have UNC in the championship.
Damn. Tar Heels
It'd be
getting some
absolutely
love.
crazy if they go 2-Q.
We've put so much riding on this team this year.
So much riding. Okay. Next, you got an Elim, Florida versus Texas A&M. You got.
We're gunslinging. Aggies. Bye, Gators.
Then does A&M win 2 games against Kentucky? See, this is what I'm saying. It gets down to the point you're like, crap.
Everything in my gut tells me yes. And here's my reasoning why. They said it in the Oregon State game that Omaha is such a big park that all your power teams are going to be the ones that are really suffering. Texas A&M, big power team. When they got Kent as their main guy, Texas A&M is on fire. But we're riding Mangione all the way to a title game, boys.
Oh my gosh.
Give me Kentucky. We're going with a basketball blue blood for the finals. As much as I really want the Aggies there.
I think that NC State is going to knock out Kentucky.
Whoa.
But I got Texas A&M going to the championship. I just feel like it's the teams that win. They have the easiest path to get there. Like, if you take that first and second game, you're sitting real pretty.
Yeah.
If you lose one of those 2, you got to battle back and play an extra game at least.
Yeah.
So not to say that it can't happen. Like, you could lose that first game and just go on a run. But that's the thing. It's like, if you lose that first game, it puts you in a huge hole.
Well, NC State back in 2021 was about ready to prove that against Vanderbilt without the whole situation. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said for that, and there's a lot to be said for teams that are down. Coastal, big team. Oklahoma against Ole Miss, that was a big series as well, where you really Oklahoma had to ride through it. I mean, when you really get down into tournament time, it's who's going to have the bigger power. And that's also another reason why Texas A&M was so high for me is when you're down and you are able to load the bases multiple times and only hit your pitches and then finally break it open with a grand slam and just keep tallying it on. Texas A&M is that team. So I like that pick for you, honestly.
All right, who you got winning it then? UNC or Kentucky for you?
Well, after as much sorrow as they have had throughout all the trips to Omaha, I got to say that UNC hoists the trophy this year.
All right. I am going to have to agree with you on that one. I think UNC will pull away with it.
Even over Schlossnagle and the boys?
I know. I know. So I ride with my boy.
I I feel like this year though, like look when you look at this whole field of 8, out of everything that they've been through with the fields of 64, like we can go back, like Virginia had to deal with, I think, probably one of the weaker regions out of the 8 teams in Omaha, but they went through a tough Kansas State team. You can throw North Carolina in there with a decent region, then getting through West Virginia. Florida State had to do a little bit of battling. I mean, all these teams have proven their worth, and you can't really go against them because they're ACC and SEC. Like, there's not one real big outlier to me, in my opinion.
Okay.
Josh is checking his Omaha apps.
No, I'm checking messages from Mikey.
Oh, the boy!
If I can read it. Shit.
If you can read it, what is it, cursive?
It's like it's really weird how he did it.
Josh is, it's the ACC pool play all over again.
Not again.
For those of you who are new viewers, Josh in the ACC baseball tournament with the
I
pool
hate
play,
the ACC for
it
that
gives
reason.
him a brain aneurysm like
Oh,
no other.
stupid. Okay. So I think he has the first game. He has also UNC in Tennessee,
Okay.
if I'm reading it correctly.
The man should have just sent it to the group chat so we could both take a look at this. Because I would love to see how he broke this down from a fundamental standpoint. Did he
So
put it on a graph?
it was in the. It actually has the bracket. I mean, he like wrote it in.
Oh my gosh, this man is on point.
So then it's Virginia. He has then I think Florida State winning, but also UNC winning.
Okay.
I think he's got because he's got UNC as the bracket one winner. Okay, so
So UNC is going to the title game for all three of us.
UNC, yep. Then Tennessee and FSU are gonna play, and Tennessee's gonna win that game. He says,
Okay.
and I could be screwing all this up, and he'll just yell at me.
Folks, we'll make sure that this is all real back set in the next episode in case y'all are getting confusioned.
He has Tennessee winning it, but then he has UNC. Okay.
God bless the big
Other
board.
side, he has Kentucky and Texas A&M winning that game. So
Who's got the hard on for Texas A&M now, huh, Mikey?
yikes.
Woof.
A&M. And then he had Florida, NC State in that one. This marker is so bad. Well, he also has Florida going 2-Q, so he's got
The pool play is real in this.
State. And he's got Kentucky winning that game. So
Who does he have at least going 2-0 to start on that side?
on this side,
Oh yeah, on the bottom side.
Kentucky. It looks like.
All right, Mikey. Respect.
Oh, I'm good. But then he's got
God
NC
bless you.
State winning this elim game.
Okay.
So he's got NC State versus Kentucky. He's got Kentucky going to the championship.
I love it. He's gonna have Kentucky winning it. I know he is.
And he does. Got Kentucky taking it. Their
Damn.
first appearance ever. Winning their first ever college series.
Okay. Hold on here. That's not a horrible pick because we all know how the last time a first team was in Omaha that had never been there. Cough, cough. Could be another team from good old Teal Nation.
Dang. Anyways. So that's what we got. Big board
like
is set. We'll confirm that and be good from there. All right. You got anything else to add, Nick?
Excited to watch Florida and Texas A&M in person. What? Why are you?
Florida can't do it.
Nah, it's all right. But we'll be there at good old Charles Schwab, 6 o'clock Saturday.
Fantastic. All right. So, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please like and subscribe. No Place Like Homaha. We are on every podcasting platform. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Thanks to Cronio Media putting us out everywhere. We are on Twitter and TikTok at Omaha Pod. We're also sponsored by Dubby and Shank It Golf. Use code Cronio Media, all one word, to be able to get 10 to 15% off of your orders. Again, Cronio Media, all one word. Fantastic. Good, great, grand, wonderful.
Hell yeah.
All right, we'll catch you guys when all this is finished up.
Later.